wondering who is Emmanuel Levinas and what is his philosophy and how do we apply it in our real world? Well, today we will tackle it.
So now, I will introduce who is Emmanuel Levinas. Emmanuel Levinas was a Jewish philosopher of the 20th century. His main focus is ethics. As the first philosopher, he believed that responsibility to others comes before knowledge, freedom, or self-interest.
He says ethics does not begin with the self but with God, meaning another person will Levinas the presence of another person, ang tinatawag niyang mukha ng iba. Immediately places us in a position of responsibility. Nangangahulugan ito na tayo ay may pananagutan para sa iba bago pa man natin isipin ang sarili natin mga gusto o kalayaan. In short, Levinas turned to common belief of freedom. Common belief is nauna ako, pagkatapos ay tulong ako sa iba. Levinas, nauna ang responsibilidad ko sa iba bago pa man ang pansarili interest ko. One must love oneself before others. We actually learn self-love through loving other person.
Why we don't truly know how to love ourselves is simply because most of us were never taught how, and we often think that love means being perfect when in fact it doesn't. And according to Emmanuel Levinas, that we love ourselves only if we learned how to love other people. And why don't we know what's too little and too much for ourselves? Because we never pay attention to what we really feel, and sometimes we're prioritizing others just to meet their expectation instead of what's actually right for us. And lastly, the word enough. Why is it still not clear to human experience? It's because we often compare ourselves to others and always want more, thinking that it would make us more happier and satisfied. And it's also hard for us to know what enough really means when we even don't give time to understand what really matters to us.
Emmanuel Levinas believed that we can only learn to love ourselves after learning to love others. Our care, our responsibility towards others help us discover our own value. In Tagalog, matutunan mo lang kung paano mahalin ang iyong sarili o alam mo na kung paano mahalin at pahalagahan ang iyong kapwa. This means that self-love is a reflection of how we treat the people around us.
Emmanuel Levinas explains that we truly encounter the other through the face. The face is the most naked, the most exposed part of a person. It cannot hide behind masks or defenses. When we see someone's face, it silently calls out to us with a command: do not hurt me, respect me, promote my humanity. Levinas calls this the epiphany of the face. It is a revelation that every person deserves dignity, care, and responsibility. So the face is not just physical, it is ethical. To look at another person's face is to be reminded that we have a duty to protect life and to treat others with respect.
Emmanuel Levinas teaches that we have an infinite responsibility for others, even beyond our own deeds. That true morality begins with responsibility for other people. He said that love and goodness are not focused on the self, but on the needs of others. Even if I did not cause someone suffering, I am still responsible to care and respond. This means that I am responsible for his responsibility and for the other. We cannot truly learn to love ourselves without first learning to love others.
For Levinas,
Ethics is not only about individual, but our responsibilities to others. When we live in a community with many others, justice becomes important. It balances our responsibilities so that fairness can be achieved. Kumbaga, dili lang dapat isa ang atong atumanon pero ang tanan. Kaya need ang justice para fair ang treatment sa tanan. That's why building fair system and laws comes from LEVINAS ethics. Because true justice is rooted in responsibility for the other.
First, Emmanuel Levinas' philosophy believes that ethics is deeply spiritual. Rooted in Judaism, he believes our relationship with others fulfills God's commandments. Second, to serve the others means putting their needs before our own. It means serving the others transcends our individual selves. By putting others first, we connect with something greater than ourselves. Lastly, caring for others becomes a path to God. Levinas believes that caring for others isn't just a moral duty, it's a spiritual practice. Responding to others' needs opens us to the infinite. In this sense, it reflects the infinite responsibility as the heart of ethics, connecting us to the divine.
And now, I will be discussing the some key criticism of Emmanuel Levinas, especially in his concept. The major criticism is that Levinas' ideas of endless responsibility is too demanding. According to him, we should perform our responsibility first to other people before ourselves. In reality, we have all limit. If ang usa ka tawo atong pugson ug adunay dako nga responsibilidad, makasinati sila og kakapoy ug guilty if dili nila kini mabuhat. Despite this criticism, Emmanuel Levinas still remains powerful and meaningful, especially in the certain fields like human rights and social justice. In human rights, his focus on the other reminds us that every person has value and dignity, while in social justice, his ideas inspire us to care for those people who are often ignored.
In conclusion, Emmanuel Levinas reminds us that ethics does not come first with self-interest, but with the responsibility for others. By placing the other first, he challenges the idea that self-love must come before love others. In today's world marked by conflict, inequality, and indifference, this philosophy calls us to respond with compassion, respect, and a sense of duty that goes beyond ourselves. Levinas shows us that a just and a humane society can only be built when we recognize the dignity of every other person and make responsibility for others the center of our lives. And that is the end of our report. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something.